Welcome to House Money with Corbin Matise. Here we have real conversations with Texas real estate experts. You'll hear true stories about the market from the heart of Texas real estate. Let's go.
Brooks Kelly has done almost 150 loans in the past 12 months for over 61 million in production. He leads a huge team at the Mortgage Link, and he's the reason I'm here. He was a college athlete playing golf at Texas Tech with the likes of Ludwig Oberg. He is a master team builder and retainer of talent. He's been a great leader to me and many others. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you, and I'm so pumped to have you on the show today. Brooks Kelly, welcome to the show.
Man, what an intro. Thanks, Corbin. Appreciate it.
You bet. So how long have you been in the home loan business?
Man, forever, since 2007, so over 18 years now.
And you were at Homebridge for 8 years. I've never asked you about that company before. Was there anything unique to the way that company was structured, or what was it like working there?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we caught lightning in a bottle when we went there. It was a company had been around, but they were growing pretty substantially. They brought on a new owner, Peter Norden, who was a fantastic individual and had great people that work for him, like still great friends to this day, with Rick Floyd, Matt Pion, Tim Bartosh, just guys that knew how to run mortgage companies. I mean, multiple of the executives there were CEOs of other mortgage companies in the past. And we were at a company that was doing fine, but they were not a direct lender. They weren't Fannie, Freddie, Jenny direct. In 2012, that was a big deal because you had to have double execution on loans, meaning that, if Chase would take it, we had to make sure that Wells Fargo would too, just in case they wouldn't take it for some reason. And so it really opened the doors for us. My production doubled when I went there, just year over year, just with the ability to say yes more often. And they actually rebranded. They were Remen back in the day, REMN, Real Estate Mortgage Network, and they rebranded to Homebridge in 2013. And we just had a good thing. Like a lot of the guys that work here with us actually were in my branch back then. Randall McClanahan, Brian Knatzer, and I were all partners and ran that branch together. And we had a great group, Kevin Pierce, Brian McCauley, Chet Decker, Wayne Benson. Had a great office, full office. Everybody was there every day. It was kind of back in the day when everybody went to the office. And we ran a great branch for a great company that had a really good culture, and it retained people because of it. They had lots of good products and just lots of good people running the company. So unfortunately, they sold their retail division a year or two ago to CMG. They still exist on a wholesale basis. Peter still runs the company, but all the retail side got sold to CMG about a year or two ago.
And when did you start building your team at the Mortgage Link?
3 years ago. So, there was a short stint at Hometown, which luckily we got out of there before things exploded. And we came here in early 22. We were branch number 2 and started growing from there. So it was just the original branch that's been around forever. And we were branch 2, and now we have, I think, 20 something branches now in 3 years. Grown from probably 200 million in production to we're on track for about 900 this year, I think. So we've seen pretty significant growth over time.
Yeah, and when I got into the business, I was listening to podcasts just to learn the industry and what was important to other loan officers and branch managers. And I heard a lot of podcasts and interviews with loan officers making over $1 million a year, W-2 commissions. And no one really talked about how hard it would be to accomplish that. It just seemed like they wanted it to sound easy. Maybe it was for recruiting or whatever. But
Yeah.
so I guess here, tell the truth about reaching that level. What does it really take? So this was in 2021, of course, slightly different market, but let's say in today's market, what would it take to reach those production levels?
I mean, to hit that kind of W-2 number, you got to close probably 75 million or so. And it doesn't just take you. It's not possible. Like you could do it once by yourself, but you couldn't sustain that in any way without a good team behind you. I think the team is the thing that changed my career in 2013, 2014. I found coaching because I was like, somebody's done this better than I have, and somebody knows how to do it. There's got to be a blueprint. And so I found the core training back then. They taught me how to grow a team, manage a team, manage a branch, count the money, all the things that the principles of the core, and changed my career because I was working 70, 80 hours a week, stacking W-2s and scanning files and doing 30, 40 million a year pretty much on my own. Like I had a partial assistant, we shared, and I was doing 40 million, Brian was doing 30, Randall was doing 30, and that just wasn't fair to that person or fair to us and our business growing. So when I found coaching, that was the huge thing that changed that. And to have a system and a process that you go through, there's got to be a conveyor belt, just like GM can't make millions of cars if they just one person stood there and built the whole car. They'd make 50 cars, or however many employees they've got, but they have an assembly line, and the mortgage process works like that. And it's very important to have the right people in that process from start to finish and make sure that you provide the right amount of service, the right amount of communication to a client. And we just did that really well. We communicated better than anyone did, and people just loved us for it. And so we were able to grow through that. It's no different today than it was, back then, which I talk about back then, 2014, 10 years ago. Technology is more there, but it's still a people business, it's still a relationship business, and it still takes a great team to build it through that, which anybody could do with enough focus and time.
So I've been on other teams that will bring people on really well. They'll be really good at recruiting. So like the initial phase of team building, they're great at. I think the unique skill that you have is keeping teammates long term. What are the tactical things that it takes? I know you got a lot from core coaching and that stuff, but like what are the actual details? Like what are you doing that you think the other team, like let's say teams that are really good at recruiting, but their um, churn rate is really high, meaning they lose employees just as fast or faster than they're hiring them. What are
Yeah,
the tactical things it takes to keep teammates long term?
I mean, if you're talking about loan officers versus like your actual team, which I'll kind of go into both, but to keep loan officers and support them, it's a lot of companies go through a lot of steps and a lot of expense to bring people on. It may be flashy signing bonuses or big promises, but it's the delivery on the other side that really counts. And so after you get here, how are you going to get supported? Well, a lot of people just kind of let up at that point. Like they're here, we got them, they're good to go. Well, statistically, 30% of the loan officers that move leave within the first 90 days. So it's really about that first 90 days of getting them set up and going through that process of delivering on what you told them you were going to give them up front. Like, are you going to deliver? Are you a man of your word? Are you going to do what you say? Or are you just going to get me here and then kind of hands off and just kind of walk away from it? So that's big on that side. I think there's an accountability I give to loan officers that a lot of other people don't, where, I don't let them run over our operations team. I fired a guy not that long ago for thinking he could run over my operations manager. And that lasted about 2 minutes before I let him go. No production is worth that. The people that make this happen do it tirelessly. They do it for a lot less money than we do it for. And they will bend over backwards to do that for you. And so taking care of them is what I do really well. And I think that's why people stay here. My operations manager, she's been with me for 13 years. My processor, April, 18 years. Like I've been in this business since February of 2007. And I think April joined us in like June. Like, so ever since then, and she was already one of the best processors in the business. So she's been with me for that long. Ben, my sales manager, for 10 years, 11 years, Blaine, 5 years, Jen, like 8 years. Like everybody that's here likes to work here. And one of the key things that I do for them is I review with them every 6 to 12 months, depending on the last review and what they're talking about. I want to be involved in their life. I want to make sure that they grow their career. I want to make sure that they're doing what they want to do. So If they're a processor that wants to be an underwriter, then we'll do that for you. April never wanted to move. She did at one point, and it was kind of a bad time for that. But after we got around to having that opening, she'd rethought it and she didn't want to move up. Esmeralda was one of my processors for years, and now she's my operations manager. Ben was just an entry level LP1. Now he's my regional sales manager. So I help grow people, and I also never want to get surprised. I don't ever want that conversation for them to come in and shut the door and say, "Hey, man, I got something to tell you." I want to be a loan officer, and you never gave me that opportunity, or I wanted to be an underwriter, and you never gave me that opportunity. So I think I'm really in tune with what they want. I probably go through phases a little bit where I get really busy, and I'm not the best at that, but I still refocus every year with that review.
That's awesome. Okay, changing gears a little bit. You played golf at Texas Tech,
I did.
which is home to golf pro Ludwig Oberg. You got us in to see the locker room. They still have his locker set up in there. What are your thoughts on his career so far?
The much better than mine was. So, yeah, I mean, just a generational talent. Hopefully, his injuries don't plague him too much. I think that's been a lot of his issues recently, but super nice guy. I've never met him, but on all accounts, he's a great guy. Very grounded. I think he'll do great things. I don't think the spotlight really gets to him all that much. So he's kind of got that Scotty Scheffler mentality a bit. Um, Hits the ball a mile. I think he's going to have a great career if he can stay healthy.
What was it like playing college golf in Lubbock?
Windy, like really windy. Um, it was fun though. I didn't know where Lubbock was when I went there from Arizona, and I kind of took a leap of faith to go. I didn't have a ton of offers. I had a few offers for scholarships other places, and it was the most university like that I went to and checked out. And so I really wanted to go to a university like that. And I hated it for like the first year, but I had a lot of opportunity. There was only 6 players on the team. One of them, Blake Smith, is actually um, Scotty Scheffler's agent, and his dad is Scotty's teacher here at Royal Oaks. And so Blake was on the team, and then we had all new kids, new incoming freshmen or transfers. And so I got to play in every tournament my freshman year, which repetitions on anything, make you better. And so I think that was a huge catalyst to my career and some of the other guys on the team. So it was a lot of fun. We traveled. We were one of the worst teams in the country when I got there, and we actually played in the national championship my junior year. I think we were ranked number 10 or 11 in the country at one point. So pretty cool to go through driving, in a 15 passenger van to McKinney for a tournament, to going all the way to Hawaii and Scotland and, Kiowa Island and these other places later on. So we had a lot of success, and it was a lot of fun. And, those guys are friends for life. The guys that we're with, a lot of them live here in Dallas. So.
On the topic of being consistent, if we shadowed you every day, or if we looked at your calendar, but if
Mhm.
we're actually watching what you do, what are the important things that we would see you do every day or every week that are making a difference for you in outcomes?
Uh, you'd be really bored if you watch me, but I'm very regimented in what I do. Like, I drop my son off at school. I come to the office. I check my emails. I get ready for the day. I review my calendar. I have a daily team meeting every day at 9 a.m. That's the most important thing when you have a team, is to have a team meeting. We go through all the leads, all the contracts, all the issues, everything within 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes. Everybody's got their assignment. They're accountable for it, and everybody moves on their day. So Ben leads my sales team, which is Blaine and Jennifer, who do all the pre-qualifications. I do all the loan consultations, but they're making sure everything is in its place. They're, going through all of that process to make sure our clients have a great experience. Then I move on with my day. I'm either doing loan consultations, coaching calls, administrative meetings. It's really about it. And that's my whole day through the rest of the day. I do field some calls and text messages, but it's pretty regimented from that. We do a weekly pipeline meeting, which I'm sure folks in our office aren't the hugest fan of. It's 30 minutes though. We go through about 100 plus loans in less than 30 minutes. We talk about what's necessary from changes. And so just getting everybody together. They all get their updates, then they can go out and update their clients, their agents, and everybody from there, instead of everybody having to have their own individual pipeline meeting with the processor and taking their whole day. So it's really meant to shrink things down for everybody to give an update, and it just keeps everybody on the same page. So, but other than that, like, dude, I'm pretty boring. I work my day, I do everything I'm supposed to do. Sometimes I work too long, but usually I turn off the lights and I go home and start again tomorrow.
You've been putting out a ton of content over the course of the past year. Uh, I think you had a YouTube channel that started, I didn't ever see that, but I know you started that a long time ago. You've been doing a ton of stuff on social media. Are you seeing any trends with content that people respond to, maybe in different ways across different platforms, or maybe even topics or specific content in general right now? Are you seeing any trends with the way that people are responding to certain types of content or certain messaging?
I think, well, I trends, like, for me, I don't know, I don't do enough of it to understand that part, because the trends change daily, it seems like. We're always trying to find something new and different, and that's why I hire somebody to help me with that instead of me trying to figure it out. But I got some great advice from my coach Amir on our written content, and I think that's doing the best, and it's been doing really well for several months now. Just being honest and true yourself, like whoever you are, like you can't be somebody else and be great on social media, in my opinion, whether it's written, on video, whatever it is. So we've gone on video, we've gone to interview style where I'm just answering questions just like we are today. And I think that does pretty well. It resonates with the crowd that we're trying to aim at. And then on Facebook, it's very much written content, and it's real life stuff, about people that I work with, work around, work for, and just experiential like that, stories that we do, and I think that's doing really well for us right now.
So you're saying that on Facebook, written content is working pretty well? Because I've seen your stuff. It looks like what's your process for creating written content on Facebook? Like, do you sit down for an hour and write content, or do you just kind of like throw it into a note as you're driving, like as you think of something, or how does your process go for creating that stuff?
It's fairly systematized when it comes to that. From as random system as you can come up with. Fridays are our spotlight, just for example. So we'll spotlight somebody on Friday, and it could be a coaching student, it could be a loan officer, it could be an associate, an operations person. We try to alternate and kind of go through that and find that. But no, yeah, I sit down and I write it myself. It's about what we do every day, and I don't think somebody could write that for me. And it's they obviously don't have. That's all I meet with people all day, and so meeting with you today, learning about you, and learning about my coaching students from the prior calls, I get a lot of intimate knowledge, and I get to know people really well, and so that just comes out in my writing. It's definitely enhanced by some AI softwares and stuff, because me to sit down and write a very well worded article, is going to take me far too long. And so I tell it exactly what I want it to say, and then it makes it look nice for me. So,
Yeah, that's my favorite thing about AI is just like the time savings, how fast it can make you.
and it makes you want to do it too, because
Yeah,
before it was like, man, like it's to try to focus my thoughts for 30 minutes or an hour when I've got everything else and three screens flying at me and phone and all that stuff. It's very hard. And so it get pushed off and pushed off. And now I actually enjoy doing it because I can actually get it done in, 10 minutes or less. So,
yeah, yeah.
and I get what I want out of it. I feel like it's getting better over time, not just it, but me in the way that I, articulate things. And we've added a lot of still shots to it recently, and I think that helps the grab too. It just stops people a little bit more than just the words. So you just got to be really
When
careful on how long it is. Don't make it too
is it
long.
when you say a still shot, you mean like a picture of something or a picture of you?
Yeah, picture of me, picture of them, picture of a like I did one with a basketball hoop the other day, talking about what I was thinking, and that's the moment I took a picture of it because I was there and I'm like, this makes sense. And I took a picture of it and then I wrote about it later on and I posted it the next day. So,
Brooks Kelly, thank you so much for coming on today. Amazing having you. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
yeah, man.
If we already know each other, thanks for dropping by. If you're a first-time listener, then we'd love to hear what you think. Please follow wherever you're listening and consider leaving a 5-star review so that more awesome people like you can find our content. To learn more about loan options with Corbin, visit MatiseMortgage.com and click free phone consultation. Take care, and we'll see you next time on House Money with Corbin Matise.